What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and if you've ever watched the channel, my two favorite firearm companies are one, Glock. I absolutely love my Glocks. I love Glock reliability. I love the aftermarket support. I love the ability to customize. A lot of people say, oh, why do you buy a Glock and just put all this money into it? Well, guys, it's my hobby. I really like putting my firearms together the way I want them to without sacrificing reliability. It just is what it is. I really enjoy that, so nothing wrong with the aftermarket support. On top of that, I love Springfield Armory. Both of those firearm companies make great 10mm firearms. I don't have the Springfield Armory XDM and 10mm yet, but that's on the list. That is the plan. Here's my Glock 29. This is the Glock version of the 10mm, the subcompact, which is more shaped like a compact, but the subcompact 10mm from Glock, because obviously it's bigger than a Glock 26, which is their official subcompact in every way. It's wider, it's longer, it's taller, it's literally everything. But still a small enough firearm for a lot of people. And today we're going to be talking about, is 10mm a good firearm round to carry or use for home defense and so on. And I'm going to give you my take on it. Just because I say it like this doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. It's just personal preference. It's a personal opinion. And that's how everything is in the firearm industry, the firearm community. It just is what it is. It's all personal preference, what you like, what you shoot good, stuff like that. But anyways, my Glock 29, if you watch my videos, out of all my favorite firearms to shoot, this is in my top 5. It's one of my top 5 overall favorite firearms as well. And as of lately, I've been going out to this 40-acre plot of land to go shooting, and this is what I carry while I'm out there. It's bear country, and this will get it done. 10mm can defend you against anything on this planet. When it comes to animals, humans, whatever the case may be, whatever the threat may be, 10mm will get it done and get it done fast. The thing is, what comes along with 10mm is a lot of recoil, muzzle flip, and you really feel it in the hand, especially in polymer firearms. But if you're like me, I love the power. I love the recoil. I love to learn the firearm and get good with it. And I've actually gotten pretty good with my 10mm. Also, whenever I take people to the range, whether it's their first time or not, I always bring this along with them. And usually we don't start with the 10mm for sure, unless you're messing around with a buddy or whatever. But I definitely bring it and allow people to shoot it and feel the power and stuff like that. And they're always amazed by the power of the 10mm, as am I. And it's a great, great round. But for everyday carry, in my opinion, I'm not fast enough with it. And I had someone say, so I made a video similar to this in the past, talking about why I don't carry 10mm for everyday carry. And the number one thing is someone said, oh, are you saying I can't shoot 10mm as fast as 9mm? And what I would say to that, let's just be real for a second. The answer is no. You cannot shoot 10mm faster than 9mm. I don't care what you say. It's just impossible. I don't care how much you train with 10mm. If you train with 10mm a lot, 9mm feels like shooting a 22 long rifle. I kid you not. I can dump a CSX. Where's my Smith & Wesson CSX? I can mag dump 12 plus 1, 13 rounds in 2 seconds with this. There is no way I'm dumping this 11 plus 1 setup in 2 seconds. There's no way. And on top of that, when you look at the groupings, regardless of this being so small, there is no way the groupings are going to be anywhere near what they are going to be with the CSX at that speed. But at the same time, you need less rounds with the 10mm, especially on a human threat, right? Someone who's trying to harm you or other people, God forbid. But 10mm is one of those firearms that can definitely stop someone real fast. Definitely faster than a 9mm or a 380, especially in situations where I live, for instance. If you're wearing a Carhartt coat, bibs, whatever the case may be, you're going to have all these extra layers underneath and so on when it's cold out. Stuff like 10mm with the right defensive round, you just can't go wrong with it. It'll get through anything. Things I worry about, once again though, is under adrenaline and craziness and stuff like that. How fast can I let rounds go? How accurately? And on top of that, will there be over penetration and so on? Especially behind my target and so on. I know you're supposed to know what's behind your target, but still, I do get nervous about that because you never know. But for home defense, I think 10mm is a great way to go. And I'm even thinking of building a 10mm self-defense setup, probably an XDM, maybe a Glock 20. I don't know yet. But another nice thing about the Glock 29 is you can throw the Glock 20 mags in there. So you can have a 15-round setup. When I go in the woods, I carry a 15-round setup with an X grip. So it's 15 plus 1 and 10mm for bear defense. And that's where I carry the 29 mostly, is in the woods. Like I said, I plan on making a home defense setup in 10mm because once again, I think if you're accurate enough with your first shot with 10mm, the threat will be no more. I'm telling you. I've seen the power. I've seen the power from rounds like Buffalo Bore and stuff like that. and it's absolutely great. But when I'm in the woods, I'm carrying hard cast 200 grain bear defense loads. That's really all you need in the woods. So having something like the Glock 29 can be very versatile because it's a firearm you can use for home defense. You can use it for everyday carry. It's small enough, but powerful enough, and has plenty of capacity. On top of that, you'll need less capacity in a self-defense encounter. And on top of that, this can defend you against any animal or creature in the United States of America, and it can do it pretty easily. So I absolutely love the 10 millimeter. And I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, those sights are terrible." They're actually not. They're the same as regular sights. You just got to line up the 3 dots. It's pretty easy. And on top of that, I don't carry this, so I just got those for testing to see what the hype was about the ghost rings, and they've just stayed on there because I have no problem shooting with them. But what I have noticed in bringing people to range, and I have them shoot the 10 millimeter, is I look at their groupings between a SIG P365, because I always bring a P365 because it's such a good shooter, has such a good trigger and stuff like that, and people tend to like them. Their grouping with a small micro 9 is so much better and faster than it is with the 10 millimeter. It's sort of like my own experiment, just is what it is. Their grouping's not bad with the 10 millimeter, but on that SIG, even if they haven't shot that much, they're getting, something like this. But once you give them that 10 millimeter, it's like this. But the thing about a grouping like this is you're spreading the love, and in self-defense, that's actually a positive. On top of that, a grouping like this is still going to be on target most likely. But at the same time, you're not factoring stress and noise and other gunshots and just all sorts of chaos. So that's where I get a little nervous about carrying a 10 millimeter for everyday carry. But for home defense, 10 millimeter is a great overall choice. And on top of that, woods defense, you cannot get any better in 10 millimeter because of the overall capacity that you can fit in a semi-automatic polymer frame pistol. Get a chest rig for it, get an outside the waistband holster for it from Blacksmith Tactical, and you're good to go. Absolutely love my Glock 29, one of the best shooting pistols from Glock, and I think they absolutely kill it with this size pistol, just like my Glock 30 right here. This is a 12+1 setup, a 45 ACP. I think these two firearms are some of my favorite firearms to shoot at the range. And like I said, my Glock 30 will be in my carry rotation this fall and winter because with the SLR Rifle Works base plate, it's just an overall must-have. And I'm really hoping they come out with one for the 10 millimeter because if they get you a +3 and you now have a 12 or 13+1 setup in a setup this far, I mean, that's unbelievable. Of 10 millimeter, that'd be absolutely ridiculous. So maybe I'll send an email to SLR Rifle Works and see if they're working on that or if they could release that because that would be insane. That would be a crazy amount of capacity in such a small setup. That would be the most powerful handgun for its size, probably. So absolutely love the Glock 29 10mm. This isn't a video of me crapping on people who carry 10mm. It's just my personal experience. And also a saying I learned a while ago, people thought it was funny at first, but it's sort of true. 9mm for the hoods, right? Neighborhoods, places you're going, grocery stores, gas stations, parks, all that. 10mm for the woods. So 9 for the hoods, 9mm for the hoods, 10mm for the woods. That's just a good overall saying, and it's true. This will defend you against anything in America, and I think that's huge. So yeah, love my Glock 29. Just hopefully planning on getting that XDM Elite in 10mm because this is one of my favorite firearms to shoot at the range, and in 10mm it's even better. So if you guys carry 10mm below, let me know what your setup is. Thanks for watching.